Alright guys, we're going to learn how to knee. Alright, so there are a few different knees that you can do depending on which coach you're at, what training you have, whatever gym you're at. So the knee that we practice is a less of a like a river of the dance knee and more of a Muay Thai knee, which is what we have our background in. So we want to make sure that as we throw our knee, that our hip follows through, our bum tucks underneath, and our foot comes back to our butt. If we're not doing that, chances are, if we're throwing a knee, for example, at someone, by the time you get your knee high enough, you're probably going to kick them with your toes. So you want to make sure that our heel comes back to our butt. We want to make sure that everything else is kind of nice and full and in a flow. So with your knee, first of all, what we want to try and do, it's going to come from the foot that's behind us. It very rarely comes from the foot in front unless we switch. We want to make sure that this knee comes forward but also in towards our partner. So we'll break it down into two parts. The first part is just up. So we're going to come up and back, up and back. You can use the hand off the same side of the body to kind of throw back if you'd like. Preferably it will come out, but we're not going to get too complicated today. We're going to make sure that the knee comes forward and then back, forward and then back. Notice how my heel comes to my butt and my toes point backwards. I don't want to come into this direction. As soon as I point my toes forward, I'm going to probably kick someone before I knee them, yeah? So, the second part is tucking our butt underneath and pushing our hips forward. So we're not just aiming upright. If someone wanted to fight me and I'm standing here doing like River of the Dance, I'm never going to get to them. It's never going to kind of translate into anything I might need. When we throw our knee, we want to come up and forward, right? So it's kind of a two-part action. Forward, yeah? What you can also do, the foot that's on the ground can move a little bit and kind of come up onto the toes to just get that extra driving power in. That's really good. As long as you've got your balance, give it a shot. Nice. What you also want to do is make sure you're breathing, okay? So, as you go through, let's keep practicing. Let's breathe. So, as we do a knee on the opposite side, what we need to do is switch our stance, okay? So, we have our boxing stance. To do a knee, we have two different options. We can do a switch and then start knee, or we do a switch knee. So, we do switch, so you either jump or you step it, okay? Depending on where you're up to. We're going to make sure we're in our non-preferred stance, so we would very rarely box from here, unless we're trying to train both orthodox and southpaw side of our body for whatever reason it might be. So we want to make sure that our knee comes up and forward and straight back to where we're coming from, okay? We don't want to come forward, and we definitely don't want to throw our knee and come completely straight. We are not balanced here. So we still want to have our foot behind us, throw that knee forward. Big breaths. The other option is doing a switch knee. So this is a little bit more advanced, but for those who've been coming for a long time at my classes, I expect them to do this. So depending on how advanced you are, you can take this option. So instead of doing a switch and just starting from that position, what we can do is a switch knee. It's very fast, and what it makes sure is that we're using kind of the ground as almost our push-off to get our knee. What it wants to, I guess, signify is that we don't want our partner to know the knee is coming, so the switch is so quick that it's just a push-off, all right? So instead of being switch knee, we want to make sure it's switch knee. So it's a really quick motion, yeah? Switch knee. So everything kind of flows towards that front direction or towards the pad holder who's there or the bag. Make sure it's just a quick step off. There is a little bit of a stutter step involved, so that might be a little bit too advanced for some of you. But if you'd like to, give that one a shot, give it a practice, make sure you're breathing, all right? Make sure your hips are tucked underneath, your butt is pushed kind of forward and underneath, and we want to make sure that the heel is back to the butt as well. That's how we knee.